Number one, you still haven't dealt with biofuels, and especially, let's say, Brazil, bringing in other sources of energy. But on the balance of power area, it is not surprising to have two-power competition. It goes back to Athens and Sparta and so forth. And certainly during the Cold War, there was incredible competition between the U.S. and the Soviet Union to acquire client states, and very often this was done with military means.
Exactly.
So then the question is, are we going to have small wars, as we did during the Cold War, where the biggest powers will fight it out through proxies, or is this going to remain on an economic power level so that we don't have to have wars that could escalate into nuclear confrontation and other problems?
Thank you so much for that question. Now, I am here in part to encourage you to read my book. So this is, to a considerable extent, what my new book is about. So I do talk about the risk that the struggles in Africa, in the Middle East, and in the Caspian Sea, Central Asia region will develop into proxy wars. And I lay out the scenarios how that might occur. And I warn that this is a very real possibility. Not inevitable, but a real possibility. So I do hope that you will pick that book up. And about biofuels, yes. And I do talk about biofuels quite a bit. We cannot countenance the use of food crops as a source of biofuels, corn, ears in particular. But I favor what are called second-generation ethanol, which is the cellulose, the corn stalks, or switchgrass, or other non-food crops. And I favor huge investment in developing technologies to break down the cellulose with enzymes or other means to release the sugar to make that into ethanol. But right now we're going at the equivalent of a snail's pace to develop that as a fuel. This is another way in which I think the Bush administration has failed us.